The galaxy is vast, ancient, and ruled by civilizations that have existed for eons. Among them are the elder species, beings whose wisdom spans millennia, their technologies incomprehensible to lesser races. These creatures have long governed the galactic order, not through war but through their sheer dominance in understanding and manipulation of the universe's laws. To them, conflict is a relic of primitive existence, a burden they believe younger civilizations must overcome to earn a place among the stars. When the elders turned their attention to Earth, it was not out of fear or respect but curiosity. Humanity, a relatively new species, had rapidly advanced from fire to fission, from sticks to spacecraft. Yet, to the elders, this advancement reeked of inefficiency and chaos. Their records, compiled by automated probes and stolen signals, spoke of a species whose history was a testament to conflict. Humanity's wars, its constant push for dominance over itself, seemed to the elders like an inevitability of primitive minds. Upon detecting Earth's existence, the Elder Council convened. It was not a matter of if humanity could be integrated into their order, but how quickly they could enforce submission. "They are volatile," one elder remarked, his voice echoing with the wisdom of centuries. "They still rely on machines that burn and consume. Their survival is a testament not to brilliance, but to stubbornness." This sentiment was unanimous. Humanity was to be classified, subdued, and, if necessary, culled to prevent it from becoming a threat. A small fleet of elegant, crystalline ships was dispatched to the Sol system. These vessels were not built for war but for demonstration, symbols of the elders' power, beauty, and intelligence. As they approached Earth, their sensors absorbed data about the strange blue planet. They detected sprawling cities of steel and glass, their streets alive with energy. They observed orbital installations brimming with industrial activity. The elders marveled at the audacity of humanity's attempts to reach beyond its atmosphere using crude rockets and fusion engines. Their arrival was announced with a transmission broadcast in every language Earth could understand. It was a proclamation, not a request. The message spoke of an offer to guide humanity, to lift it from its brutish state into the enlightenment of the Elder Order. It was laced with a benevolent arrogance, a tone that presumed gratitude. Humanity's response, however, was unexpected. The reply was terse, almost dismissive. Acknowledged. There were no effusive thanks, no desperate pleas for mentorship. Earth neither bowed nor bristled but merely observed. To the elders this was a slight, a failure to understand the generosity being extended. Still, the fleet held its position, its ambassadors ready to proceed. From their vantage point, they analyzed Earth's defenses, outdated orbital platforms, swarms of crude satellites, and lumbering vessels in dry dock. The lead ambassador remarked, "How fragile their constructions are. They have built walls of sand against a rising tide." Their mistake, of course, was in believing that humanity had nothing more to show than what lay in plain sight. The elder fleet remained in orbit, confident in its position of power. To them, humanity's lack of immediate reverence was a matter of ignorance, not defiance. The elders watched as Earth's nations seemed to mobilize, as if preparing for a conflict. This bemused them. Conflict against what? Against whom? They had come to offer guidance, not hostility, and even if humanity were foolish enough to consider resistance, the outcome was a foregone conclusion. The Elder Council had underestimated the very foundation of humanity's existence. Earth had not been shaped by millennia of peace but by struggle. Survival was not granted, it was seized. Every advancement humanity had achieved had been driven by necessity, by conflict, by the unyielding pressure to adapt or perish. What the elders saw as chaos was, in truth, the crucible of ingenuity. Within hours of the first transmission, Earth's governments united under a single purpose: defense. This was not the first time humanity had faced an existential threat, but this was the first time it had come from beyond the stars. A coalition fleet was assembled, vast in number and bristling with weapons designed for a war that had yet to come. At its heart was the flagship, HFS Invictus, a behemoth forged from humanity's collective determination. Its black hull absorbed light, and its weapons arrays promised devastation. It was not a ship built for peace, it was a promise that humanity would never kneel. The elders watched as this fleet began to mobilize, their sensors tracing every movement. Railguns, missile platforms, energy shielding, these were weapons of a species still chained to primitive, kinetic warfare. The elders, in their arrogance, saw this as confirmation of humanity's inferiority. One captain remarked, "They bring spears to a battle of minds." Then came humanity's response. A single transmission was sent in reply to the elders' offer: Earth bows to no one. If you seek peace, approach as equals. If you seek domination, prepare to face resistance. It was delivered without malice, without bravado, but its meaning was clear. The elders, unaccustomed to defiance, saw this as an insult. To demonstrate their power, the elders destroyed a small asteroid near Earth's orbit with a precision strike, sending a clear message: resistance was futile. The response from humanity was immediate. A railgun platform in Earth's orbit fired a single projectile. It moved at unimaginable speed, crossing the distance to the elder demonstration vessel in seconds. The ship, wrapped in its crystalline armor, shattered under the impact. The galaxy had not seen such an act of defiance in millennia. The elders convened urgently, their serene composure now laced with unease. Humanity, they realized, was unlike any species they had encountered before. These creatures did not beg, did not cower, and did not submit. For the first time in countless centuries, the elders prepared for war. Humanity's parting message to the fleeing elder fleet was simple: you may enter this war as the aggressor, but you will not dictate its terms. Welcome to Earth. The elder fleet regrouped at the edge of the solar system, their captains exchanging data and preparing for what they believed would be a brief and decisive conflict. The loss of a single demonstration vessel was inconsequential to them. A fluke, nothing more. Their fleet was composed of 100 ships, each one a masterpiece of engineering, with shields that could bend light and weapons that could vaporize mountains. They had never known defeat, and they did not intend to start now. As they advanced, the elders noted the sheer scale of Earth's defenses. Orbital platforms, seemingly outdated and cumbersome, encircled the planet. Fleets of ships formed a defensive perimeter, their designs unlike anything the elders had encountered. These vessels were not graceful or elegant. They were brutal, angular, and functional. The lead elder captain sneered at the sight, dismissing them as relics of a barbaric age. When the elder fleet entered the inner system, humanity made no move to engage. It was as if the humans were waiting, biding their time. The silence was unnerving, but the elders took it as a sign of weakness. They began their assault with a coordinated strike, targeting the largest orbital platforms in Earth's visible fleet. Beams of searing plasma lanced across space, tearing through the void with terrifying precision. The platforms erupted in fire, debris scattering into the vacuum. The elders expected a panicked retreat or even surrender. Instead, the humans retaliated. The counterstrike was swift and devastating. Railgun slugs, traveling at unimaginable speeds, tore through the shields of the elder vessels. Missiles, armed with advanced AI guidance systems, wove through defensive grids, targeting weak points with surgical precision. The elder ships, so accustomed to fighting inferior foes, struggled to adapt. For every human vessel destroyed, 3 elder ships fell in return. Then came the drones. Thousands of autonomous craft swarmed the battlefield, moving with unpredictable agility. They operated independently, each one carrying a payload capable of crippling an elder vessel. Some executed kamikaze runs, slamming into shields and destabilizing them, while others coordinated their firepower to exploit openings. The elders, despite their advanced systems, found themselves overwhelmed. The HFS Invictus led the human fleet, its presence a symbol of Earth's defiance. Its main cannon, a railgun larger than any weapon the elders had ever conceived, fired a single shot that pierced the elder flagship. The crystalline vessel shattered like glass, its debris spreading across the battlefield. The elders watched in horror as their commander's ship was obliterated in an instant. Humanity's tactics were ruthless, efficient, and utterly relentless. Where the elders relied on their advanced technology to outthink their enemies, the humans fought with raw ingenuity and adaptability. They exploited every weakness, turned every mistake into an advantage. The elders, for the first time in millennia, experienced fear. As the battle raged on, the elder fleet began to falter. Their captains, faced with annihilation, ordered a retreat. They left behind shattered ships and broken pride, their arrogance now replaced with a chilling realization: humanity was not a species to be subdued. They were predators. The remnants of the elder fleet limped back to their territories, their silence heavier than any galactic council could comprehend. For the first time in countless ages, the elders had tasted defeat, not at the hands of an equally ancient rival, but from a species they had deemed insignificant. Their shattered pride spread through the galactic community like wildfire, drawing the attention of younger civilizations. Whispers of humanity's triumph echoed in distant star systems, and species long subjugated under the elders' dominance began to wonder: could Earth be the harbinger of a new order? On Earth, the victory was met not with celebration but with grim resolve. The cost had been high, ships destroyed, lives lost, and resources stretched thin. Yet, humanity understood the stakes. This battle had been a warning, but it was far from the end. Engineers and scientists immediately began analyzing the wreckage of elder ships, salvaging technology and incorporating it into their own designs. In war, humanity had always been quick to adapt, and this time would be no different. Earth's leaders convened, united in a way that no prior threat had achieved. Discussions were no longer about politics or borders but survival. They knew the elders would not let this humiliation stand. Revenge would come, not out of necessity but pride. Preparations began for the inevitable second wave. Fleets expanded, orbital defenses strengthened, and alliances forged with younger species who now looked to humanity as a symbol of resistance. Earth's message was clear: they would not be caught unprepared again. Meanwhile, the elders debated their next move. The council, once serene and absolute in its authority, was now fractured. Some demanded retaliation, the complete eradication of humanity as a lesson to any who might follow their example. Others, more cautious, urged restraint. Humanity had proven itself far more dangerous than anticipated. Their ability to turn destruction into innovation, to adapt and overcome, was unlike anything the elders had encountered. "We underestimated them once," an elder ambassador warned. "To do so again would be folly." In the midst of these deliberations, the Elder Council sent a lone emissary to Earth, not to sue for peace but to understand the enigma they had faced. When the emissary arrived, they were greeted with cautious formality. Humanity did not trust easily, especially not after a war that had nearly cost them their home. The emissary spoke of the galaxy's shock, of the balance of power humanity had disrupted. Their words carried a thinly veiled warning: "You have earned your place among the stars, but do not mistake respect for forgiveness. The galaxy will not forget what you've done." Earth's response was as calculated as their defense. A message broadcast not just to the elders but to the entire galaxy: "We seek peace but we do not fear war. We will defend our home, our people, and our future. Let any who challenge us remember this day." It was neither boastful nor meek but resolute, a declaration of humanity's place in the cosmos. Above Earth, the fleet stood ready, led by the HFS Invictus. Its black hull glinted against the backdrop of space, a silent reminder of humanity's resolve. The elders had expected submission and found defiance. Now, they would contend with the reality that Earth was no longer a quiet world on the fringes of the galaxy. It was a force that would shape the future.